I really feel grateful for that. I also, it's always a blessing for me. My mother's here tonight with me. My mother, when she was born, we had an Ottoman caliph. When she came into the world, there was a caliph in Istanbul. It's not that long ago. And Allah, inshallah, will restore the great... It's very interesting because when I was in Turkey, I found the scholars got very offended by saying the Turkish Empire. You know, they didn't like that. They said, no, it was the Uthmani. Because they said it wasn't an ethnic empire. It was a multicultural, multi-ethnic world. Very different from the world that has been artificially created in many of the Muslim countries today, that has created so many of the problems of these ethnic divisions. People think, oh, they've always been fighting. The Pathans and the Kabulis and the Hazaras and they think, oh, they've always been like this. It's not true. Even in the 1960s, Michel Roland, the French photographer who went to Afghanistan in the early 60s, he thought he'd found paradise on earth. This is a Frenchman and his wife who ended up becoming Muslim in Afghanistan. He thought that he had found paradise on earth. He thought they were the most beautiful, wonderful people. One of their national pastimes was flowers. Everybody had flower gardens. One of their national pastimes was flying kites. Afghanis well known for building their own kites, not going down to Kmart and buying the kite. No, they would make the kites themselves. And it was a tradition they had. And then they would go out. They had kite flying contests. Not like Americans where they have these kites that are like M16s. I once saw, I was out in San Francisco at the park, and there was a Chinese man with a kite, and he was like doing Tai Chi with his kite. You know, he was like, and then there was this American, and he had this kite, and it was like, meow, meow. And it was like making noise. And I was watching this Chinese man doing his peaceful kite flying. And then this American man doing this kite flying that looked more like a drone attack. I thought people were going to get afraid. You know, I was once in Saudi Arabia, and they said that Shaykh Abdullah al-Qadi ran an organization. One of the things that they did was they helped what are called mu'aqun, what we call people that are handicapped. And these people could not speak. They spoke in sign language. So he was talking, and when he was talking, the man was translating, and suddenly he went like this, you know, like that. And I said to Shaykh Abdullah, ask him, what does that mean in sign language? So he asked the man what it meant, and he said, oh, that's how they say American in Saudi Arabia. That's sign language for American. Guns blazing. You know, it's very troubling for me that this is how people think of us in other places. You know, recently they've been showing horrible images on CNN, which they never do, and I want you all to write to CNN and really write, and that it's disgraceful, the type of images they're showing of what's happening in Syria. They're showing people shooting people in the head, ripping hearts out of bodies, things that they would never show. For instance, where were all the pictures of the Americans urinating on those men they killed in Afghanistan? Those weren't nationally, right? We don't see those pictures. Where are all the pictures of the victims of the drone strikes? Where are the pictures of the Pakistani children that have been blown up? Or the bombs that have, where are these pictures? They don't show those pictures when it's, see, you know, one of the things about, you can show somebody, you know, these wretched people and shooting, and what happens in these countries, when you go to war, people go mad. War is a type of madness, and it drives people mad. Right? But what is the excuse when you're sitting in an office in New York and you're dropping bombs on people thousands of miles away? What is the excuse? You tell me. How do you live with yourself? How do you go to sleep at night? One of the people that was operating drone strike, a lot of these people end up committing suicide. He actually said, oh my God, I think we just killed a kid. This man that was killed in recently, the sniper, he wrote a book called The American Sniper. He'd killed more people sniping than any sniper in American military history. He killed hundreds of people with his gun. And he admitted to killing a woman holding a baby. But he considered her a terrorist. Once you demonize people, you're in Iraq. Right? What were the pretenses for going there? Really, what were the pretenses? Once you do these things to people, what happens to people? You drive people mad. You think that the Palestinians, 60 years, one Syrian person started telling me about Syria. Why isn't anybody doing anything? I said, welcome to the club. You're in the club now. It used to be called Nadi Filistin. This is what the Palestinians have been saying this for 60 years. Where is everybody? Welcome to the club. The Afghanis are in that club. The Iraqis are in that club. The Syrians are in that club now. The Palestinians are in that club. The Libyans now, they've entered into the club. There's a lot of people in that club. And it's a club you don't want to join.